Hello and welcome to Alpine Ridge. That's our area. We built this. This is Community Canyon and we've finished our area. I'm joined by Luke and Evan.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about exactly what we've done in terms of over the past week and a half, building our area up and just discussing some of the rides, some of the theming, some of the initial plans, some of the things that didn't go so well. What do you two think? Are you happy with what we've done?
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Unfortunately, I couldn't actually build my own area in this park, hence why I'm not doing my separate area. So I thought I'd try and help out when I can with Harry's area as well as Evan as well.
Yeah, I thought it came out really well in the end. It was a lot of work, but I think it paid off towards the end, especially.
Yeah, my PC just can't run Planet Coaster. So I tried to help out by making some small blueprints around the park. So the bridge, which you can see right now, is one of them. Which took a bit
you
of
really
time.
did help though.
Oh yeah, massively.
In the grand scheme of things, we all kind of had different jobs in terms of kind of the level of detail. If we start at the bottom, Luke did a lot of these as bridge sets or just kind of small, really heavily detailed sets that make a world of difference.
Yeah, no, I'm glad how they turned out. Yeah, I think I did about 6 or 7 little individual bits.
Make a huge difference.
They do, like the entrance to the coaster as well is a nice little setup. Evan did a lot of the macro scale building, so I mean pretty much all you see is what you did, right?
I did a lot of the grunt work, as you said.
Yeah, the grunt work. I think that's the best way to describe it.
For sure. Stuff
A lot
like
of the buildings.
foliage, buildings, terraforming the mountain.
And then that leaves me, what did I do? And the answer is not much. No, I built the coaster. Of course I did, because it has 500 block sections, and I love doing that.
Just a few.
The kind of generic plan of the area, I'd say, was heavily inspired by some of the things I said
Definitely.
to do.
The whole layout was definitely designed by Harry.
But it turned out well. The one thing I'd say we did, perhaps I would do differently next time, is not make it as big.
We were very ambitious with that.
Far too ambitious.
Where did it all start, actually, in terms of the theme and the choice of theming elements, you know, like the generic style of the land?
Yeah, I can't put my finger on what the first thing we did was. I mean, the mountain, which you can see in the kind of centerpiece of this area, that was kind of already there as part of the main entrance to the whole hub/park.
Yeah,
It was.
that was
So
it.
we decided to go for this area of the park to kind of build around that to try and make it fit into everything else.
Which is one of the reasons the scale got so big, because we had to build it around such a big centerpiece already.
Yeah, and you can't have like a tiny little village at the base of a mountain because it just wouldn't look very good, would it? I think one of the first themes we started to look at was, well, we had the idea of having a river run through the area, and that kind of shifted into the rapids being the river. But one of the initial theming kind of ideas that we had was panning for gold, and then that kind of inspired the alpine setting of the area, really.
It's also worth noting we had a poster created by Lou from Park Boys, and that was heavily inspired for the coaster and the mountain kind of area. So a big shout out to him for making that.
Kind of went backwards in that the art inspired the project.
Yeah, it really did. Like
definitely.
the bridge going over the mountain with the coaster, water coming down the mountainside.
And when it came to when I was making some of the entrance area directly off the hub, it was really important when I was making that to try and keep that sight line like visible, because I was thinking of doing like kind of an arch over the pathway with, you know, the entrance sign and all of that kind of stuff. I ended up kind of incorporating the entrance sign into the bridge, so it's kind of on the side. So no matter how far back you are from the mountain, you always get that nice sight line.
Definitely one of the things that we planned from the start was to get that sight line of the mountain, wasn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
The first thing you see going into the area.
There was definitely quite a lot of sight lines planned in with the project from the start, especially with the coaster over with the area. Like seeing it hit that mid-course brake run on the platform from the entrance was something Harry wanted from near the start, and so it was all planned around being able to see stuff like that.
Talking of the coaster, another thing was I wanted people to be able to see parts of it from the coaster's plaza. I always hate the Disney coasters that you just never see. I wanted something that was a best of both worlds, where you had this experience that was more heavily themed and inside, but then you also get to see what kind of ride you're going to experience.
I think the phrase you used was half Big Thunder Mountain, half normal coaster.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole kind of idea of this, well, we had at the start, and from some of your suggestions, kind of the whole mine theme. So we tried to stick with that as much as possible throughout kind of the build process. But the whole idea is you start off at the town, which is just outside of this little hub area we're looking at the moment, and you basically enter through some kind of broken gates, looking a bit dodgy, and you make your way through there past a security checkpoint. So you're basically being recruited to be part of the mine and start working there. So the whole idea is, as you're approaching the area, you're going through the security checkpoint for like the mine, going through the gates, and the whole kind of theme is to make it look a bit dodgy and a bit intimidating, really.
And it took us a while to come up with a name for this, didn't it?
Yes.
We kind of wanted to go with, initially, with the dodginess, so I think it was called like Calamity Caves.
Yeah.
But then I pointed out it sounded very Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Which it does, for sure.
So what was the name that we settled on?
Prospect Mountain.
Prospect Mountain, there you go. Again, keeping the mining theme, keeping the mountain theme. We should have called it Big Thunder Mountain 2.
I know. Yeah, but even on like the power lines, we tried to hide some like spark effects to try and convey how dodgy the whole area and the mine is generally. Little details like that are scattered around the area, which is a nice touch.
I mean, this coaster was a kind of a very iterative challenge. Evan built an outline of the mountain, then I built a layout, then Evan built some of the mountain, then I changed the layout, and then we built more of it, and then the layout changed again. So, I don't know, this is like iteration 3 of the layout. But no, the coaster's definitely built around interaction for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted something that could be a part of multiple different areas, not just the coasters like hub, but also the mountain and the sightlines you get from when you come in, but then also the interaction between the roller coaster and the rapids.
Yeah, it's definitely the highlight area.
Yeah, in this cave system underground. And again, I think this was something that we had an idea of near the start, that we wanted something like this.
It was something we based the whole area around, was having an area like this.
Should we ride the coaster? I guess we should.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you got a little pre-lift section. And then you climb the side of the mountain, you know, Expedition Everest style. Now the spinning starts, in terms of when you get to this more spinning section. And yeah, it's a lot more interesting at this point.
Go over the waterfall.
Yes. Much more like a spinning coaster with your traditional swooping drops and things that really gets the train going, you know? Then we got some nice theming that we never get to see.
Yeah.
So much time detailing that.
That bit of theming is to kind of help convey the kind of story behind it. So it's meant to be like you're going down the wrong mine shaft. There's meant to be loads of warnings.
Into the very twisty section. Probably the highlight of the ride, honestly. I think that would be a great
I'd say
bit.
so, yeah.
And we get to see Mr. Skeleton. Oh, there he is. Very briefly, as we climb up the next hill.
Another mining accident.
Yeah, of course. And then we pop out of the mountain and into your Bolton style mid-course, and then now this is just a classic outdoor section, which resembles much more of a normal spinning coaster, with a lot of the elements being very twisty and, you know, weird banking and that kind of thing.
Just get some good spinning out here.
It does. And one of the things I'm most happy about is how smooth it is. I haven't really been able to build very smooth roller coasters in this game before, especially compact roller coasters that are smooth. And I'm very happy that this turned out to be, I don't know, I feel like it's decently realistic in terms of...
I'd say it is as well. I was surprised how smooth some of the indoor section especially.
Such a good length as well. There are so many that are just so short. Like, you literally take a breath and then it's done. So it's good to have a good, decent length ride.
Towards the end of the project, we decided we wanted to put in a flat ride, and we had a nice empty bit of space here between the rapids and the plaza for the rapids that leads into the mountain. We played around with a few different options until we decided on one of these top spins, which we themed to like logging or...
Yeah, we wanted something that fit the area, didn't we? And all of these rides in this game are huge, like overly huge.
Yeah, which was one of the hardest parts. It was why finding one that fit into the space was so difficult.
It was a very last minute addition just to fill up some space.
Yeah. We realised it was just going to be more empty forest at that point if we didn't just find something to put in there.
But no, it turns out good. And as you said, that leads you to the Rapids Plaza. So we've kind of got a few different plazas in this.
There's no dead ends as well. They all, from above, it may look like there's dead ends, but they do actually all nicely match up, which is what we planned from the very start.
So on the left, there's a path that leads you under the mountain, and that takes you directly to the roller coasters plaza. And then on the right, if you cross over the bridge, which goes over the drop, which is another piece of interaction that we kind of had in mind from the start, this drop here and a bridge that leads over, you'll be able to get to the next person's area. I mean, this was mainly your bit, wasn't it, Evan, the rapids?
Mm-hmm. It was one of the first things we built. To be honest, I built... Well, you designed the layout for the most part, Harry, of the rapids. But
let's be clear. I sent you a very quick scribble of where I think roughly it could go, and you were like, sure.
I literally was a scribble. Well, it has to follow like a winding path, so I just thought I'd follow the scribble.
Yeah.
The theming and the foliage and stuff around it was mostly left up to me. We wanted to have a waterfall that kind of came down onto the rapids, but we couldn't really find a way of making it look good, so it's a bit further away than we
It looks great though.
wanted.
I think it looks really nice. Yeah, and it starts in more of this kind of...
Wilderness?
Yeah, like wilderness with a few log cabins, you know, just out there. Then we obviously get to the drop. Again, wanted something a bit more interesting in terms of didn't just want a rapids that was moseying round endlessly.
Yeah, we try to make it as exciting as it is and try not just become like a lazy river.
But there's lots of Luke's nice little sets throughout this, like the logs over there that are poking over the track.
Yeah, just small things like that to kind of keep it exciting.
And they really do make the ride, those in my opinion. I think it was a lot better after Luke started working on these just really detailed sets that would be placed into the ride.
Yeah, I also try and make everything kind of realistic to a degree. So on the left there's a mini crane which can, let's say you're going to live in the town, you could put your luggage on that and then it'd be lowered down to the rapids.
Oh wow.
And the rapids could take it.
That's really cool. I didn't even realise.
A lot of thought went into this. I didn't realise that either.
And again, we built the rapids to go around this central path. So as you enter the area, you see the two main attractions straight away, right? You know, you see the coaster up on the mountain, and below you is the rapids.
There's sort of two sections to the town. There's the area more you're looking at now, which has a more well-built traditional town. The rapids comes around the back of it. But then there's a gate, and we sort of tried to make this mysterious-looking gate that leads down a path to the more run-down area, which is the plaza for the coaster.
From a story perspective as well, it makes sense having this town kind of near to the mine, because obviously the people who actually work at the mine would need a place to kind of live and stay when they're not working. So that was kind of the idea behind that.
This is a nice bell.
Yeah, that was originally a clock. I swapped it out at the last minute.
Good choice. So in terms of who's next on this project, we've already handed over the map to Lokin, and he's already started building his area, and it looks great so far. So make sure to follow him over on social media. I'll link it below to track the progress of Community Canyon on his side, and also remember to send him suggestions. I mean, you sent us loads of suggestions about what kind of things you'd like to see, what kind of names. There wasn't a single suggestion that we took, but we took like a mismatch of so many of them.
Yeah, it was almost like a perfect pick and mix.
Yes.
The best suggestions into this land. So it was really helpful to have it.
And I think the names are all just amalgamations of 2 or 3 different suggestions. So, you know, our whole area is called Alpine Ridge. I think someone suggested like Alpine Mountain or something. The coaster is called
Prospect Mountain.
And then the rapids is called
Mountain Creek Rafting.
And again, someone suggested Whitewater Creek Rafting or something.
Mm-hmm. So we took that.
Or Whitewater Rafting, or, you know, a massive amalgamation. And as Evan said, there's a lot of themes that people suggested. You know, people even suggested underground caves. If you want to hear about this in more detail, we're actually going to be holding a live stream on Wednesday the 17th at 7 p.m. BST. And again, there'll be the three of us here, so you can hop on, ask questions, talk to us about what we did. Maybe we can show you some more specific things if there's something that you'd really like to see more of.
Yeah, and anything about the project as well in general, we'll be more than happy to answer those questions.
So that's Alpine Ridge. This is Community Canyon. Over to Lokin now. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.